Hey everyone, this is Austin-Sensei. Welcome back to another review of, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, episode 18, and this episode was a build-up for the next episode, which is going to be a huge battle, and I'm not going to lie, I laughed a couple times, but nonetheless, you saw the title, and yeah, we actually have... They didn't forget about Shizu. They actually bring her up, and that's why I really like this series, but let's get into this review. So, we see Charon's underlings with Phobo, the guy that got punched by Milim because he caused a commotion, is extremely mad at Milim, and he admits that what he did was he didn't do it correctly, but he still wants revenge on Milim for embarrassing him. And we see Footman with Tyr come out of the forest, and these people are obviously, if you don't know, they're working with Clayman, and they are really bad people, and I like the voice actors for them, though, nonetheless, and they basically showed up to grant Phobo's wish to kind of get revenge on Milim, and Footman sells Phobo partially on, the power that is supposed to rival Milim's. It's a Calamity class, and it's kind of weird that they still haven't talked about the different levels of what's going on, but hey, what can you do? I could make a video if you want that, but it's up to you guys. Explain that kind of stuff, but as I said, up to you. We see Phobo kind of get mad, and see, this is the thing I was actually really thinking about while watching, is he was mad that he hasn't gotten a chance to be a Demon Lord, and that brings a question up for you guys. Answer this in the comments down below. Would you want to be a Demon Lord if you could? I mean, honestly, my answer is yes, for the simple fact you get power, but think about all the good you could do. I mean, look at, good old Rimuru. I'm pretty sure if he could, he would take it, but he doesn't want to be evil, and see, that's the thing I was debating with myself with that, but as I said, it's up to you guys in the comments down below to decide how you would approach that. But anyways, we see that Tyr and Footman basically, for doing this, Phobo is going to owe them a favor after, and obviously Phobo gets sold on it completely and accepts the offer, and Phobo's people kind of just don't want him to do it, but they know he's the person that he could handle it. He could actually do it, and they just don't want him to go through with it, because those people that are with Phobo, they're really good people, and see, when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, see, they're caring about Phobo, and Phobo is a interesting character after you're going to see the whole, Char battle. I'm not going to say the full name because I know I can't say it, so I'm going to, not piss people off, but it's just this whole theme of Phobo wanting to get revenge on Milim is kind of just driving him to go forward, and I like the fact, I don't know if you guys watched Naruto, look at Sasuke. He was on a path of revenge, and the path to revenge, as one of my favorite quotes, if you want revenge, dig 2 graves, and basically that's kind of what it was going around to, that they know this is bad, but he wants that revenge. He doesn't care the cost of it. You can go blind of revenge or hatred. And I thought, as I said, very well delivered in this episode. But after we cut to Sidon, Shauna, and Milim all in the bath having a contest to who could hold their breath underwater the longest, and I thought it was a really good kind of out of touch, I wouldn't say out of touch, but a different contrast to what just happened to lighten the mood up, to kind of show the contrast between, the comfort of, Rimuru's capital versus, people that are outside of it. And it kind of paints Rimuru's town as a very nice, comfortable place, and obviously Fuse talks about that later on, but who won the, that whole contest? Shauna, but, they still keep on going. And we see Rimuru with his infinity slimes, I'm going to call him, because he's going to have that infinity gauntlet to beat the heck out of everyone, especially the Demon Lord Leon. But, yeah, he is in the bath, overhearing the girls, and he wishes he was on the other side, but he is now in the bath with Fuse, and he's kind of like, yeah, I'm stuck with this old man. But we see Fuse, as I said before, wants to stay in Rimuru's town because he is comfortable. It's a very nice place. He doesn't have to worry, and he's already decided that Rimuru is not going to do anything to harm humans, and I was really happy about that. But we see that Yum's already left, and the rumor about the whole, him and his people defeating the Orc Lord with the assistance of Rimuru's people is going to be spread around, and Rimuru outright just says, hey, I want to build a road to your town, or your kingdom, Fuse, and Fuse is kind of like, what? That's expensive, and Rimuru basically says he'll do the labor and everything, don't worry about it, and he finally convinces Fuse about it, well, not confuses, convinces. There we go. Let me tell you guys, I have a lot of time to not sleep anymore. But yeah, we see the clowns bring Phobo to, you know, Char, where it's supposed to be resting, and Phobo's role basically is being the vessel for Char, and it's just, you could tell this man is so driven on revenge that after he goes in there, basically you see Tyr and Footman kind of make fun of him, and before that they kind of, Tyr sells Phobo on how Char could, you know, revive on his own and start killing people, and basically, I'm going to summarize it to the simpler term, basically Phobo is the only hope that they have to controlling the, you know, Char, and it's funny because he's so set on revenge and he doesn't really realize that he's actually stupid for falling for it. But we see apparently that Char's actually ate a lesser dragon corpse. I'm just like, oh lord, this is gonna be fun. And we see that Millum, we got to cut back to, and you see this contrast I'm really liking, because you see the happy-go-lucky stuff that's happening in Ramuro's town, and we see the brutal gray stuff outside the town, and it paints the picture of how the setting is in different places around the world, and it builds this world beautifully, if I may add. But Millum returns, as I said, from hunting with the adventurers for kind of like monsters, and they kind of start talking about how she was able to point out monsters so easily. I'm like, yeah, she's a demon lord, no crap, she's gonna be able to do that. But I just want to really mention right here, I don't know if all of us saw this, but her necklace of Rimuru is like amazing. I thought it was cute. But nonetheless, we see a Dryad Tyra show up, and that's Trenya's actual sister, and Rimuru's like, oh, she's not bad looking. I thought that was a really hilarious thing. But she alerts Rimuru about Char and says it's a Calamity class, which is supposed to be at the class that Demon Lords are at. And as I said, if you want me to make that video, I can make you that video about the different classes, but I'm not going to tell you here because I don't want to waste your time. And I think it's one of those, you guys want it, I'll do it kind of thing. But nonetheless, tell me in the comments down below. But anyway, so we hear about how Char is actually a child from Voldor. And if you don't remember Voldor, that's the dragon from the beginning. You know, the first episode, you know, Rimuru's best friend kind of thing. And basically, technically, if we want to really think about it, because Rimuru did really point it out, that him and Char are kind of like technically brothers. I thought that was hilarious. But anyways, apparently Char can summon megalodons that float in the air. I'm just like, oh boy. And we hear there's 13 megalodons that have been summoned. I'm like, you know, you got a lot of stuff to do. And I don't know why I was thinking of Battlefield 4, that megalodon, but nonetheless, continue on. We see that Millum wants to basically defeat the Char and gets denied by Sinon and Shana, since it's Ramuro's town. It's the problem for them. Basically, to sum it up, I know some people are like, why didn't they just do it? Basically, if Millum did it, it would be boring. She would one-shot it. We all know she would. She's just so powerful, and it'd be more entertaining to see Rimuru do it, I guess. That's kind of the thinking process of that. But nonetheless, continuing on, we see that Rimuru being so nice to people and people respecting him, having a lot of high expectations, kind of is a big problem at this point. And I laugh because I'm like, yeah, that's he's too good. He's gonna end up doing things he doesn't want to. I mean, as the quote goes, with doing good things it's never the easiest thing. It's one of the hardest things to do. So I guess that quote over here kind of fits perfectly. But nonetheless, we see that the Dryads actually couldn't defeat Char, and kind of really painting the picture of how dangerous this creature is. And remember, basically is counting on King Gazel's backup, and a little fast forward that they're not going to show up until the end. It's going to be funny. But we basically see Rimuru is going to stand and fight, and we see the contrast with, you know, he's talking about how people would fight to protect the king, not to lose the king, while he's going to be the actual king. And see, going to like no game, no life. You've heard, you know, with Zoro, he said, why wouldn't a king fight at the front lines with his men? That's his men. He's supposed to be up there with them, kind of thing. And that's kind of the, I guess, the kind of basics to it. I like it, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. But we see Rimuru talk about being reborn into this world, and Shizu entrusting Rimuru with her will, and Rimuru brings up Shizu's promise about defeating, well, subsiding the feelings that she has in her heart, the feelings that she hasn't been able to get rid of with Demon Lord Leon. And apparently Demon Lord Leon is extremely, extremely strong, and Rimuru has his work cut out for him, and Char is supposed to be easier than him, so it's kind of giving us this scale already before it gets further. But we see that after Rimuru is really set on keeping that promise to her, and he doesn't really care what's going to happen. He just, as I said, it's very nice to see Shizu wasn't an afterthought, and she's still having an effect, even though she is gone. And I really respect that about an anime when they do that kind of stuff. But after all that, we see Char is actually drawing near, and it's gonna get real, boys. real. But what did you think of this episode? I quite much enjoyed it, honestly. As I said, it was a very good contrast. Have seen people that are outside Rimuru's village, seeing the reality of what's happening. If they aren't doing well, they aren't working, they're not prospering, they're out there on the front lines. It's muddy, kind of thing. It's, you got to do rough calls, versus Rimuru being comfortable. And Rimuru isn't that person that doesn't know how it feels. He understands how it is, and I like how he brought up how he was being a human, because, you know, Fuse says you think like a human. I really could never see you as a monster. I thought that was quite nice and a good touch on that part. But as I said, I enjoyed this episode. I know it wasn't a high action episode that many people would want to go watch right away, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. But anyways, guys, tell me what you thought in the comments down below. But anyways, yeah, if you want me to make a video informing you about how the power levels are different and how it's scaled in this world, tell me in the comments down below. But anyways, I will catch you later. This is Austin-Sensei, signing out. Peace.